This is the myofascial stretch for the superficial glute. The superficial glute is part of that whole hip complex that goes over that whole glute area and also is in link with the IT band. So it's a continuation of some of that tissue. The leg that we're not working with, we're going to go ahead and straighten out. We're going to go ahead and flex that ankle and turn it in just to kind of keep it in its own fixed position. We're going to create a little posterior tilt of the pelvis to keep that lower spine down. We're going to lengthen through the crown of the head. Now we have an assister here. So we have a band, a heavy band. You can use a stretch rope, you can use a towel, you can use a belt, anything that you have at home. Because we're going to straighten this leg up. We're going to hook that around the foot to help give us a little bit of tension all the way down towards the heel or towards that foot. And the goal in two capacities here is to try to work on straightening the leg. If we straighten the leg, we're definitely going to feel a lot more tension in that calf and that hamstring for a lot of us that are tight in these areas. So that might take over the stretch. So what you need to do is kind of play around with how do we get the tension all the way to the glute. And that's going to be different leg positions and different leg positions in regards to how we bend the knee or keep the knee straight. Okay, so our first goal is to go into more of a straight knee position. As she kind of pulls towards her chest, that's definitely going to be a lot of hamstring and a lot of calf. But what we want to try to do is then come across the body, and we want to turn this toe in. So we create a little bit of internal rotation at that hip. And as we come across the body and try to reach through that heel through the ceiling, we should start to feel the tension build in the outside of this glute area on the superficial level. So the pelvis is going to reach towards the ground. We're going to try to keep that pelvis as flat as we can. And then we're going to reach that heel across. And what we can do here now, if we're feeling too much calf or too much hamstring, we can bend that knee a little bit and then work on more of the leg coming across the body, and then try to increase that tension again by trying to help support the knee as we try to have an effort to straighten the leg. So we should feel more of that stretch go into the glute as we play around with this knee bend, as we maintain tension with our opposite hand so that we can leverage that leg across the body. And as we go into different angles of the leg, that's going to give us different tension into different parts, whereas if I bring the leg more up, that's going to angle back more towards the pelvis or the lower part of the pelvis. If I go more towards the side, that's going to be more of those middle fibers. If I bring that leg down, that's going to come up into that more forward position of that glute fascia. So we can play around with this stretch a little bit, feel where we're the most tight. Again, once we pull, once we find a good working position, we're going to try to do 3 sets of 30 seconds on each side, and that's going to help finish that mobility link through that whole lateral side of that hip. And that's a myofascial stretch for the superficial glute fascia.